The fall finale of The Last Man on Earth ended with the year's most jaw-dropping cliffhanger. And this March, prepare yourself for its unbelievable return. The Last Man on Earth with Jason Sudeikis.
Boom.
Sunday, March 6th on Fox.
Great round of applause. Hey, everybody, how are we doing? Good? I'm sure we're all so excited. I know I am.
It's a full house. They said it was a full house and they had to turn people away, which is weird because I'm seeing 20 stacked chairs over there. So I don't know why they did that.
It is full. It is full. So tell me about what we can expect. We've been waiting since December for season 2 to come back, and there are 2 major cliffhangers with Mike and Phil. Tell us what's going to happen on Last Man on Earth. We need to know right now.
You know what? You should know, and I should ruin all of it for you so you can just read a book instead. But I'll probably get fired. Yeah, Will Forte is super top secret about all the plot lines of the show. So I'm not. Why would I tell you what's going to happen? That's silly.
Can you give us any hints? Nothing at all? Nothing?
Well, lines will be memorized, emotions will be emoted, comedies will ensue. You're going to get all that. There's going to be costumes, all of that.
And will we get some more Jason Sudeikis on camera?
I believe you will, and I think Fox put out a lot of clues that you will. So he's definitely coming back.
Yes, we got something, guys. I got something.
You got something, because I know they tweeted out a picture of him on the ground. So you will see Jason Sudeikis, and he does love being behind the camera, like a lot. Like I don't know how he exists if he's not in front of one. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course. So tell me about being a part of the show and working with Will Forte. What's your favorite part about going to work?
My favorite part about going to work is that I'm going to work. It's rare to get a consistent gig in this business, and I've always wanted to be sort of a leading character on a show, and so that was just a dream come true for me. And working with Will Forte is, I just love working with someone that I know I can learn from. And he is just above and beyond, so fast and so funny and so full on 100% committed. And that's one of the funnest things, especially in comedy, is finding someone who's working across from you that is just as committed as you are, because I feel like I dive into it too, but I'll let other people decide. But just somebody that you feel like you're going to dig into the joke as hard as you can, and you're never going to let go, and you're going to just believe it until it's over.
Yeah, and you have a crazy cast on this show. January Jones, Mary Steenburgen. You had a little cameo from Will Ferrell. Tell me about working with all of them, and it must be a cool vibe on set.
It's a really cool vibe on set. January Jones is becoming like a very sweet, dear friend to me. She's one of the nicest, weirdest, like genuinely weird people that I know, and she's just got such a kind heart. And she's also really into fashion, which just try to rub off on me a little bit. Mary Steenburgen, she's just one of those people who just drops like a treasure in your lap every second of the day. She just got stories. She grew up with Bill Clinton. Like, they went to high school together. She creates music. Some of the songs on our show she wrote. She won an Oscar. I mean, she's like, again, one of the most genuinely kind people. I wish I was related to her. That's like how much I love her. It's a little weird. Mel Rodriguez is just got like the deepest, richest well of emotion inside of him that I'm just so grateful that he's on the show just to access that. And he's really nice to be around. And then Cleopatra is also really feisty. Feisty's not the right word. Why would I say say that. I wanted to say feisty because she's young, but that's not true. She's not feisty. She's super chill. Maybe she is feisty in her off hours. I'll have to find out. But she's also just a really lovely person, and I'm happy that she's on the show, too.
Yeah. Well, speaking of feisty.
Is that too long of an answer? Because I heard you have some time to just really get into things.
Really get it. You can really
guys
get
care,
into
right?
Here.
Do you guys care? Good.
Oh, gosh. So, speaking of feisty, that beard, half shaven, half head that Will Forte is sporting lately, is it for the show? And if so, what was your reaction when you first saw him on set?
Well, is it for the show or did he lose a bet? I can't say. But when I did see him, it is a little, because you look at him from one angle, he looks just like a shaved guy, and in the other angle, he looks like his old self. And then front on, it's just a hard, like your brain takes a few beats to like make sense of it all. I think for him too, it was tough because one side of his head would just be cold all the time. So that was hard to balance. There's no remedy for that. But yeah, I started to get used to it over time, and I thought he looked really cool after a while, like kind of like a Mad Max character, just a punk or a Last of a Mohican that, I don't know. I just loved it. But yeah, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that anymore.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So he's back to being normal.
He's a normal guy now.
He just has to stick out with his feist.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least he has some feisty people around him on set. So you've done some crazy things for this show. We had the crickets. You also talked about that sex scene you had with Will Forte. That was very interesting due to the I don't know if everyone knows the story if you want to retell it.
I farted on Forte. What happened was, it was my first sex scene ever, and it's not it's like you're not allowed to move because it's network television. So I was basically just sort of kind of in a plank position on top of him. But also in the scene, Carol is real aggressive and vocal, and just like the director, Jason Wolner, he's like, it's like you're at a sports bar, like we just took it there. And I was just backed up, I was nervous. It was only like, I've only been on the show a couple weeks, and the early calls just makes it 6 a.m. call times makes it real hard to be regular. So a lot of stuff was compacted, and it was and what in the right after that sex scene, Carol eats beans. So they shot that first. So right before, I was just pounding back some beans and take after take, and then I was like back on it. So yeah, I farted on him. I knew it. I felt like that was the most intimate thing that I could do, being married, and like we'll always have that together. Like that's a trust with your co-star that like is rarely earned.
You can never get closer than that.
I mean, I fired on him. Like there's nowhere else to go. Like we can do anything now. Yeah.
Yep. Including eating crickets.
Yes.
What was that like to? I heard they were real. They weren't.
They were
fake
real.
Prop crickets. They were real crickets.
They were real crickets, and they don't taste bad. It's just sort of like they're just dry. It's kind of like just eating like a couple dry flakes, sewed together with some cricket legs, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And then when it was after they did my coverage, the cameras turned around to do the other side, and Forte, who is so committed, was like, do they have fake crickets? And they had these fake crickets made out of delicious dates the whole time, and they just forgot to mention it to me.
Oh, that's nice. So they just wanted you to eat the real crickets.
I just think
didn't
that
even give you the option.
I just think they didn't think of it. I don't know. But the cricket farts that night. Whew. They were chirpy. They Thank you, audience. These are the jokes.
So good. So when you go to the table reads, do you flip through the script right away to be like, what crazy shit am I gonna do on this episode?
No, I read that Meryl Streep doesn't read a script. She just sort of takes in the moment so that her reactions are like that realistic. So that's sort of how I approach it.
Yeah. You gotta follow what Meryl does.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason she's always nominated for an Oscar, so.
Yeah. Totally.
You never know. Cricket farts could get you there. They could.
Well, I don't think television can be nominated for an Oscar.
No, it can't.
But maybe this show will reach a whole new cinematic level.
Speaking of the Oscars.
You know what? What about it?
Did you watch it?
I did watch the Oscars. Here's the thing. I know there's an Oscar controversy that we are all excited about. And Oscar's still white. And
If you guys weren't aware.
yeah, they're still white. And I agree. They should have nominated a couple films and some folks. And they didn't. But they also never nominate a comedy. And after that, it's like, who cares? Like, do they really matter? Like, when they already tell me that the thing that I do doesn't matter? I get it. You know what I mean? Not quite as deep, but I do get it's like, it's just a popularity contest. But I want to win.
Especially with the Golden Globe somehow deeming The Martian a comedy. Man,
Yeah.
how can you get ahead?
Yeah, I mean, we could really get into this, but I don't want people to get mad at me.
They could never be mad at you. Especially with your voice, because you're sitting here and all I'm thinking of is Bob's Burgers. Is anyone else thinking of Bob's Burgers?
Bob's Burgers, yeah.
That's coming back too in March.
Yes,
Tell
it
me
is.
what it's like to work on Bob's Burger and do all that voice work.
Oh, okay, so it's really fun. I've known the cast of Bob's Burgers for pretty much half my life because we all came up together doing stand-up. So we're all longtime friends, and so they keep us in a room. We record together as a cast, so they want us to play with each other and riff on each other and improvise. So some of that makes it into the final episode. And yeah, it is the only job that I've had for more than a year or two. So it is my most consistent job. It is my family, they are like my family. Like, we make sure we hang out a lot. We make up shows, like we're doing Bob's Burgers live, and it's really just because we want to hang out. Like, we went on tour this time last year, not to make money, but we just wanted to eat dinner together before. They're just so lovely and dear to me, and I miss being in the booth if I'm not there for a few months. I miss, and I noticed when I was shooting Last Man, I couldn't do our cast records because of scheduling, and towards the end of Last Man, I started to be real obnoxious in between takes, just singing songs, and I'm and I was like, oh my God, it's because I have nowhere to put this. I missed my Louise. She's trying to come out. So, and I would just apologize. I know I'm being annoying. I'm sorry, I just have all this pent up Louise energy. So it's a real gift to get to do it.
Well, I'm sure it helps with your role as Carol to bring out a little bit of Louise in that role, too.
Oh, I don't think Louise is anything like Carol.
They're total opposites.
Yeah.
But it must be cool to kind of succumb Louise, play Carol, then go back to Louise, then bounce around.
You're right. That is really cool.
So tell me, what... You crack me up.
Yeah, I got
on my
your back.
game.
I got your back.
So tell me about, I didn't realize that John Roberts is the same, he voices Linda on Bob's Burgers, and I didn't realize that he is the Christmas tree guy and the mom on YouTube. Did everyone here realize that?
Yep.
Yes?
That's
Tell me
right.
about working with him, and would you ever star in one of his crazy mom YouTube videos? 'Cause I would love-
Oh, hell yes, I would. The videos he made of his mom with the Christmas tree and My Son is Gay and all of that is what landed him the part of Linda. So basically, they stole his creation of his mom and put it on their show. And yeah, John Roberts I have to say, nobody cracks me up as much as he does. Like, he catches me by surprise all of the time. He is incredibly vulgar in ways that I couldn't even imagine. And I'm like filthy. So it's so fun to be around him. He also loves to go shopping, and I love to go shopping with him because we'll always take a couple tequila shots, and then all of a sudden I'm buying a hat. Who buys a hat? Unless they're drunk, Well, you'll buy a hat, and you're actually wearing it. I have 2 hats at home from 2 different shopping trips.
Just because of the tequila.
Yeah.
Do you guys drink anything else when you're out on these dates?
He loves tequila. That's all we drink.
That's it.
Yeah, but like high shelf tequila because it's better for, you. It's healthier. Just pay a little more, and you're gonna feel better the next day.
Yeah.
That's when you're our age. So sorry. When you're young, you can drink, nail polish remover, and you're like, back up. Now you gotta process it, and it's you guys.
I can only imagine these voiceover booths with you guys drinking tequila, wearing funny hats. And it must be pretty fun.
It's really fun.
What do you like about voice work more so than maybe being on screen? Because I know that you're also in Toy Story. And is it true that you're going to be in Toy Story 4?
It's true. Oh, my God. I hope, unless they write me out before they shoot it.
Is it fun doing voice work more so than...
Christian Bale's son loves Trixie. I found that out.
Wait, I didn't hear it. What did you say? You're whispering.
I said Christian Bale's son loves Trixie,
Oh my
and I
God.
got so excited. Anyways, go on.
Do you love Christian Bale?
Yeah. I love Christian Bale. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. Like, every time I see him in something, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? This guy's a force. Anyways, what?
You're cracking me up. Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Voice work. What's the difference between, being in the voiceover booth versus being on screen, aside from the obvious differences?
I think for me, being in the booth is obviously much more free. You get to play more. You get to do it a few more times. You get to riff. You get to improvise. And also, the pressure is only like less than 50% because whatever facial expressions or costume choices or whatever is going to be done with the animators. Like, they're half of the creation of Louise. So, and the other characters. And doing live action is, especially for television, you really only get like a handful, like 3 chances or 4 chances to get it right before the schedule, they have to move on. Like, you gotta nail it, and you sit around for a long time, and then all of a sudden it's time, and then they're done. So it's just more pressure, more time consuming, but also there's something, of course, because it's so much of you, even more of you than a cartoon. You feel not prouder of it, but I don't know, it's more yours.
It must be cool too to sit on the couch and watch your animated character and then listen to your voice.
I'm less judgy when I watch Bob's Burgers of myself than when I watch Last Man. Last Man, it's like, oh my God, I look like that. Like, you forget what you look like unless you're always looking at yourself. Right now I have no idea. But okay, now I remember. Now, okay. But when you watch yourself, it's like constant reminder.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, we all loved you on Flight of the Conchords, too, as Mel.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like, what did you learn from that experience that you brought to Last Man?
What I learned is, well, the thing that was so special, Flight of the Conchords was one of those shows. It was basically my first job, my first TV job. And it was one of those shows that you could, even though I'd never done anything else, you could just tell, like, this is something real special. Like, this is something that just sort of dropped down. It's timeless. I didn't know it would be a cult classic. Like, I didn't know it would continue to keep a life after it was off the air, but it really has. But the cast was so gorgeous. They're like these Kiwis who are so, I don't know, they're so humble. They're still humble, and their humor is just this quiet intellect that you just like want to just devour. And it was such a joy to be part of that show. I feel like I really won the lottery, and I hadn't really felt like that again until I did Last Man on Earth, where I felt like, oh, I'm in another situation right now where this is pretty special, and it just was nice, who knows, what is that, like 8 years apart, I had to wait almost a decade until I felt that way again, but it was worth the wait. Like I just feel very blessed to be involved in shows that are so unique and so odd and special, and that I'm proud of, that I'm like, look, I love my resume. Love it.
Love it.
If I could wear my resume on the red carpet, just like print out my things. Gross.
That would be the best.
Just to remind people,
Yeah, they need to know your resume.
Don't look at this. Look at this.
But you also, speaking of your resume, you have a movie coming up called The Boss.
Yeah.
With Ben Falcone and Melissa McCarthy, which should have been cool. I mean, I'm sure that was an awesome experience as well, working with Melissa. Tell me about that a little bit.
Well, it was really great because I've always wanted to meet Melissa McCarthy, so this was the perfect way to meet her, was getting hired on her movie. I recommend it. That's how I met Tina Fey, too, was getting hired on 30 Rock. And I was both of those women, I'm like, oh, God, I want to meet them so bad, but what if I do? I'm just going to talk too loud. I'm going to talk too long, And so I didn't want to meet them because I didn't want to embarrass myself. And it was just a thrill to get to meet both of them in their work environment. And Melissa McCarthy is it's just she's so nice and she's so funny. Her humor is just like effortless, and she's also just, what's the word? She's just graceful in the way everything about her, there's an elegance to, and especially when she's pulling off like a stunt. Like there was a big fight scene, and she did her own like stunt. She like, you sort of saw it in Bridesmaid and Spy. Like the woman can bend like you've never seen. She's a gymnast, and she just like springs back up, and she's just like, God, she's just. I love her. I love her, and her husband, Ben Falcone. I want to make sure it's there. He's also equally as lovely, and it's just really cool to see them working together as a team.
Yeah, and so you mentioned Melissa and Tina. Are there any other female comedians out there that you looked up to, or are there some that you see coming up that you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, all the ladies! I love them all. I love all the ladies. There isn't a single lady that I don't love. I definitely looked up to Sarah Silverman, who is just like, she is so great. The Sarah Silverman program just blew my mind. I thought it was the best. And yeah, Amy Poehler, Maya Rudolph, Rachel Dratch. I saw Rachel Dratch and Tina Fey do their two-women show in Chicago before they broke into SNL, and it was so good. And Rachel Dratch, I saw her do an improv set in Chicago, and I was like, she was just unstoppable, just like boom, like the fastest, quickest one on that stage. And she was sort of my first like star crush. And I got to tell her, and she was so gracious about it. She's cool. Yeah.
There's some kick-ass ladies out there.
I mean, there's like I would say there's at least 100 great ladies I could mention right now, and if I'm leaving anyone out who happens to be watching this streaming,
Yeah. You could thank them all when you win your Oscar. Let's open this up to the audience, because I'm sure you guys have lots of questions.
Yeah.
Hi, Kristen.
Hi.
Hi. I'm a big Bob's Burgers fan. Like, Louise is my favorite character. I was just wondering, where did you draw your inspiration for Louise from, and which episode is your favorite?
Well, Louise is a little bit drawn from my nephew, who's a lot older now, but at the time, like 6 years ago or however long ago it was, he was feisty. He's a little bit feisty. He was a little bit he like sort of like talking up to authority in a way that I would have never done, and sort of like, but very very smart. So there's a little bit of him in there that I studied, but most of it is just all me. Just like kind of like my cynical side and just my too cool for school side comes out. But it's really cool. It's really fun because it comes out through an adult, but it's through a child. Whatever. What was your question? Oh, favorite episode. Oh, favorite episode. Okay, well, I love them all. I love every Louise centric episode because it's so much fun to perform them. I think Hawk and Chick is real good father-daughter thing. Also, there's an episode coming up, which you should get excited about, involving Tina and a horse camp and an imaginary horse played by Paul Rudd. And I haven't seen it either because it's, we don't get to watch it till it comes out with you guys. Like, we all, including the actors, watch it at the same time. So, and I have forgotten it because it's been a year since we recorded it and it took that long to get animated. So we're all watching it at the same time. But this one in particular, it was written by Nora Smith. During the table read, got chills of like, this is so good. So I hope it's as good. Oh, you know what? There's also an episode that Greg Thompson wrote about the shark. You remember the shark, the electric shark that comes out? Oh, I forget the name of it. It was another one that surprised me because reading it, recording it, I didn't understand the humor of the electronic mechanical shark, Autotron, whatever. And then the animation is what made the joke come to life. So it was a real surprise, and it made me love the show. That episode. Okay. If I was John Benjamin, I'd be like, they're all bad. Okay. Yeah.
Hi. Flight of the Conchords just announced a summer tour. So since you played their #1 fan, do they give you free tickets? Do you follow their tour bus around? Will you be involved in the show at all?
Yeah, they didn't invite me to be involved in the show this time, which was a surprise. And if they're watching, usually I open for them here and there, but maybe they're doing something different. I will be at their show. Oh my God, I was already looking at it. I'm like, should we go to Portland in July? Like, I might go to Portland in July. They're gonna be in LA. I'm definitely going to that one. I was like picking the cities. Have you seen them live? Oh, are you going to? You should do everything you can to see them live because not only are their songs exquisite musically and comically, but their banter in between is so good. It's so precious and weird, and they really put on a show. You will not regret it. I just started listening to their album for the first time since the show stopped, and geez, right? It's just layered and layered and layered with all the different jokes that you would want in a song, and it's like catchy. Yeah.
Gotta hook them up with tickets. You better call those guys and hook them up with tickets.
I mean, I feel like I might get free tickets because I've got their numbers and I keep in touch with them. I'm pretty sure that I could get backstage because I spent the night at their house and vice versa. Like, I know their kids and stuff in their guest room when I visited them in Wellington. Gross. Anyways, now I feel like I'm talking too much. Like, maybe I won't get in. Maybe I won't get in.
Hi,
Who's
next?
Kristen.
Oh, right here.
Hi.
So on the show, you guys do like completely crazy things now that there's like just a few of you. If it was the end of the world and it was just you, what was the first thing that you would do?
Wow. Well, I guess what I would do is I would find all the cashmere and I would put it on my body. Yeah. I know, it's like, what would you do?
Free shopping.
Same, right?
Probably,
Yeah,
but-
same. Okay.
Don't forget those cashmere hats and tequila.
Yeah.
Shoes.
Shoes. But what kind of shoes?
Like really nice high-heeled shoes that I can't afford.
Okay, I love this. So you would buy really beautiful high-heeled shoes for no one else to look at but yourself.
It's just important to you.
Right, but what I'm saying is, I just want you to really put yourself there now. So you got the shoes. You're standing up in them. And now what do? How far around do you walk in them?
You don't have to walk. You can just look at them.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So good, so good. Oh, right here.
Hello.
Hi.
Love the show. Love your character. I still remember when you still made Phil's character stop at red lights even though there was no one else around.
Yes, yes.
And I was just wondering, what are we gonna expect any other cameos? And can you not kill him off that quick like you did with Will?
Right, yeah. I don't know if we're gonna have any other cameos, but if we do, I hope they do get killed off because I don't want to share the stage. Okay, not too quickly. What's long enough for you for a cameo? Like, what's a good amount of time for you to be with a character? 15 minutes. So Will Ferrell got killed too fast for you. Okay, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Boris. I was thinking of somebody else. No. Yes. I don't know how to answer your question because I'm not allowed to really call the shots on the show. Yeah. That's all Forte. The show is all Forte. He gets the last say on not only the writing, which he's doing as well, but the editing, which he's doing as well. So he's doing everything. Yeah.
Okay, we have time for one more question.
Hi.
Season 1 took place in Tucson, and season 2 took place in Malibu. Where do you see season 3 taking place, or if you see it changing?
Ooh, I hope we get a season 3. And if we do get a season 3, I would love to be in a castle. Yeah. Maybe in Italy. I'm really getting into pasta lately.
That sounds dreamy and feisty. Well, thank you guys for being here. Thank you so
guys,
much,
thanks
Kristen.
for coming to this.
Make sure to watch Last Man. It's coming back, guys. Thank you for being here.
Thank
this
you.
is fun.
Thank you.